Hello and welcome to episode number 98 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk all about the hobby that makes us happy, card games. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
I'm Jim. Today, spoiler season is back in session.
I was kind of interested, wondering how you were going to open up the episode, because there's like a million different things you could say.
Oh, 100%.
A million different things. And the one thing that we loved, well, I don't love saying this, but I always point it out. It's always spoiler season, Jim.
That's why it's back in session.
Always spoiler season.
Because every new day is spoiler season.
But could it be, can it be back in session when we never leave school?
Yes. Because I just came back today and,
we're jumping through the mental gymnastics. We are jumping through those mental hoops.
Yeah.
But before we continue jumping through those mental hoops, we need to talk about our sponsor, Amazon Audible. If you head over to our website, if you head over to our affiliate link, www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness, you can sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service. That's right. When you follow that link and you sign up for the service, you get a free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible. All right. Audible is Amazon's audiobook service. So when you sign up, you get a free audiobook added to your account, and you can redeem it for any audiobook on their service. The best thing is if you're an Amazon Prime member, you actually get two free credits that you can use to redeem for 2 free books on their account. And if you don't like the service, you can cancel at the end of the 30 days, but you still get to keep those books on your account for as long as you have that account. So again, follow that affiliate link, www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness, to sign up for your free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible. Go sign up, follow that link, do it now. Do it now. All right.
Yay.
All right. So today we're talking about spoiler season, but before we actually talk about that, I wanted to kind of bring in kind of a new segment that I'll admit, I'm not 100% prepared for it, but I told Jim before we started, I'm like, you know what? I want to do it. Let's get the legs.
Give it a shot.
Let's get the legs going. That way we can, kind of just, learn on the fly. We're going to do it live, right? We're going to do it live.
Heck it, we're doing it live.
And this segment, we actually we had discussed doing something like this a long time ago. And basically kind of have it be like a video series. Yeah. But I was thinking the other day, I'm like, this would be just a perfect thing to just bring into the podcast. Yeah. And I haven't told Jim this, but Jim, I kind of want you to head it up. What do you think? I want give you something to do to prepare for the podcast. That way, when we sit down, I'm like, all right, Jim, what's new in the week?
What's new in the world?
so it's basically what's going on in card games.
Yes.
And this is like a perfect thing to talk about. And we've talked about this a lot. And I was actually reading a blog today. I believe his name is Jordan Kennedy. He was recently on Flake's podcast, the Instant Speed podcast. But he's also really big into card games.
That's a great name.
Instant
Speed podcast.
It is a great name, and he just rebranded actually, and it looks great. Flake, it's awesome, dude. I know you probably don't listen to us, but that's all right. If you do, leave a comment.
Just
leave a comment, dude.
Someone tell them.
We'll clip it. But anyway, so I saw this on Twitter, and he was talking about Grand Archive, and part of what he was writing about was us being in that TCG renaissance, and we talk about this all the time. It seriously does feel like it, and he made a comment to say, there's a lot of good TCGs that are coming out. So Grand Archive is one of them. Now I don't know. We talked a little bit about Shadowverse last time. Do you know where are we at with Shadowverse? Like how close is that?
Well, we're a couple days until release.
Is it really that close?
June 30th.
Really?
June 30th it drops.
I did not realize that. Okay.
Yeah, we're a couple days out.
So a few other things that are going on. Magic just released the Lord of the Rings set. The Lord of the Rings. What is it? Is Universes Beyond? That's what it is, right? Universes Beyond.
Yeah, I think that's as a whole what they call it, because they did the stuff with the Warhammer. That was also that. Yeah. And when are we getting that Final Fantasy set?
I don't know. That is confirmed. That is confirmed, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that is confirmed. Yeah.
I think so. I can't wait to see the Disney Lorcana crossover with Final Fantasy. And then we'll have like Sora in it.
Do you think so? Hang on. Do you think we're ever going to see a Disney owned property come to Universes Beyond now that we have Lorcana?
I could still see it.
I could see it too. Because again, it's like Disney loves money, right? Yeah. Are they going to turn down free money?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think Magic might like money too.
True. But I don't think it'll ever be Disney related. Like I could see Star Wars, I could see Marvel, but now with Star Wars Unlimited, man, I don't know.
I mean, I could still see it. Like
I could see it.
Like Final Fantasy also has their stuff.
Final Fantasy does, but that's the thing is I like no ill will, nothing negative to say about the Final Fantasy TCG because I love that game. The game's fun.
It's great,
but. And I've made this comment before, right? I don't know what doing something like that is going to do to the communities. Because we had talked about this when we had Justin Gary on the podcast, right? Yeah. And I wonder if we were to see Universes Beyond come to Star Wars and Disney. Let's just use those two, as those are two very big IPs with upcoming TCGs, okay? With Disney Lorcana and Star Wars Unlimited, okay? We already know that these fan bases are crazy, right? And not crazy in the negative sense either, but they're just they love their IP, right? They love their stories, okay? If Magic took Star Wars or Disney and said, "Hey, we know you guys have a card game and you guys want to be big, but now here's your chance to see them in our card game." Like, would the backlash be overwhelming enough to say, "Yeah, this was a bad idea," right? So what do you think? Like, what do you think would happen if this were to happen? Huh?
I don't necessarily think it'd be a bad thing.
I want to state, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just I have these questions.
Yeah.
That I think about.
For me personally, I would love to see more crossovers between different things.
Now, when you say crossover, essentially what you're saying is another IP in a game, like Universes Beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings characters on Magic cards.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But it seems like also now that we're only seeing it in Magic, but this is also relatively new too.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a skin for old cards or different cards. I mean, some are like that. Like that Horizon Canopy I just got today.
Didn't they start that with the Godzilla ones?
Yes,
I
believe
was
so.
the first ones.
Yeah,
and that was from in Ikoria.
Yes, in Ikoria, and they have cards for Warhammer as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if they did any, like essentially skins for other cards for the Warhammer set.
I don't think they did. But they're doing a lot in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And
they're going over really, really well.
Yeah, they have quite a few, but then they also have just their own cards from the Lord of the Rings inside.
And they're new cards, right?
Yes, brand new.
But also, like, I think not Magic, Lord of the Rings as an IP itself lends itself very well to the game of Magic.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're like both genres, they're both fantasy.
Yep.
They're both high fantasy.
Yep.
So there's already a lot of things that make sense that go very well together. Right? Like, I think Warhammer was probably like the first IP that was very, very different.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I mean, I think Warhammer is still, Warhammer is still similar to D&D, but from a theming standpoint, they're very, very different.
Yeah,
they're very different.
Yeah. So, one's heavily futuristic, the other one's old-fashioned fantasy,
and
medieval fantasy.
The one thing that Warhammer has that you don't ever see it in Magic is guns, right? I could have sworn I remember, and I think it was in Magic. But if there was an IP or there was something that was said of there could never be any guns on these cards. Okay. I could very well be making this up, but I could have sworn I heard that from somewhere. Very obviously it's anecdotal, but I don't remember where I heard that. But it just got me thinking about it because we just started mentioning Magic.
I can only think of. I don't remember if this was even. Oh, I think it was the Warhammer set, where there was like some Izzet gunslinger dude. I think it was from the Warhammer set.
Oh,
I guess I can't think of any other guns in in Magic.
Okay. Okay. So I know they've mentioned Final Fantasy coming to Universes Beyond. The other one that I know is coming is Doctor Who. That was the other one. There's Doctor Who, I think is coming.
I don't even care about that.
I'm not like Doctor Who's huge, but I've never watched Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Never watched anything Doctor Who. I know it's a thing.
I don't know. Thing.
And I know there's something called the TARDIS. What is a TARDIS? Is it a time machine? Is that what it is? Okay.
I think so.
Two guys have no clue.
I was going to say, I'm like, isn't it a phone booth?
It is a phone booth, but I think it's a time machine in a phone booth, or it's a phone booth that is a time machine. Yeah. I don't know. Somebody will let us know.
Yeah,
like you guys have never seen. No, I've
honestly,
never.
I didn't even know how to pronounce it. So
TARDIS?
Yeah.
I could even be pronouncing it totally wrong now that you say that, because I know it's spelled TARDIS. I'm not even gonna say that because now I'm still probably wrong. Who knows?
That's probably right.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there anything else big that's going? Oh, you know what? The one big thing I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast, but the lawsuit. From Ravensburger, as from Upper Deck.
But you brought that up on the live.
We
stream,
talked about it on live stream. Yeah. So there's today's episode. We're bringing up quite a few things that we touched on our most recent live stream.
Yeah.
We had our Disney Lorcana Content Creator Roundtable live stream last Friday. Should note today is Monday, 6/26, so it's June 26th today.
Yes, 6/26.
It will matter. It does matter. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, we haven't really touched on this on the podcast. So I mean, the TLDR is Upper Deck is suing Ravensburger / Ryan Miller for their work on Disney Lorcana. Essentially, what Upper Deck is claiming is that Ryan Miller worked for Upper Deck for about a year and gave them this idea that is now known as Disney Lorcana. Well, Upper Deck is claiming and alleging that it was supposed to be Rush of Icor. I think it's Icor first. Yeah. And there's a lawsuit that you can read the I can't remember what it's called, but the thing that they submitted to the courts, I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. The filing. If you just read the filing, it's all there. I think it's. I read it. I read it. It's about 18 pages. It's not long. So if you're at all interested, I highly recommend you should go. It's interesting reading, especially for card game players. Okay, because the funny thing to me is that Upper Deck is claiming and alleging that some of the things that Lorcana is doing, that Rush of Icor did first, and no other game is like it. Like getting to 20 lore. Okay, you are going up as opposed to taking your opponent's life total down. Well, this is the only game that goes up, and we did it first. Yeah. Because that's extremely. Nothing else has done that before. That's so unique. I don't think that's correct.
And no other games have ever counted up.
Exactly. Nothing else has counted up.
Nothing was like, I need to get as much resources as possible.
Right. So there's quite a few other things. So if you're at all interested, go down and go find that filing. I'll see if we can find it. I'll see if we can link it in the description or the podcast notes. But go check that out. And I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. There have been quite a few great conversations that folks have had around this topic. The Illumineers had a lawyer on a video of theirs, so definitely go check that out. But I don't know. In all honesty, when I saw it, I laughed. Okay, and I know a lot of people did, because this coming from Upper Deck, people are like, "This is golden," because they were. I don't know if they were charged. But
the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff?
The whole Yu-Gi-Oh!
Fiasco.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Counterfeit fiasco, because they were guilty. They were guilty of that, right?
I think so.
I think they were guilty.
Yeah, because they didn't have their license for it anymore. Yeah,
they didn't have a Yu-Gi-Oh! License, but they were printing and selling Yu-Gi-Oh! cards. Correct?
I believe so,
yeah. So now they're saying in all honesty, guys, like, I haven't heard really anything good about Upper Deck as a company. And there were folks saying like they didn't know anything that Upper Deck did. I mean, they do have like Legendary. Legendary's good. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy Legendary. Versus two player card game, 2PCG. That's another one.
Plus, no one buys sports cards, Dan.
Guys, that
was so funny.
That was hilarious, man.
Oh my goodness.
We had a new game.
It's actually funny because while you were talking about it, I'm like, oh, I should have added this when we were talking about it. But I'm like, oh, I forgot. I just bought hockey cards a month ago for my brother's birthday. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, your brother's a big hockey guy.
Yeah, I'll buy my siblings hockey cards.
Like so for those of you who missed the stream, okay, we were talking a little bit about the lawsuit and Upper Deck as a company. One of the big drivers of Upper Deck sales is sports cards and sports card sales. And we had a gentleman on our stream, Wero, first time on our stream, new to the Lorcana content creator scene, and he has never met anyone who has bought sports cards, which, I mean, that's fair. That's okay. That's fine. But basically he wasn't necessarily making the argument that because he didn't know anybody, why is it such a big market? But basically making the statement of, since he wasn't aware of anyone who buys card games, he was very surprised, to say the least, at the size of the sports card market, which is like $44 billion or something like that. And again, if you've never been, and I can understand, like never not being around anyone who enjoys a hobby and then come to find out that this hobby is massive, like, well, I can understand that. Yeah. But we literally were having an argument around it. It was fun. Yeah. And we were trolling heavily. Oh man, we trolled a lot, and we had Jim. I trolled
a little too hard that night, maybe.
we had a good time. It was fun.
It was a good time, and the guy was first time on.
He was a good sport.
First time on the stream, I'm like, I have to troll him.
Yeah, Wero was a good sport.
So if you're ever on the stream and you're new, I mean, honestly, even if you've been there a while, you're getting trolled. Like it's happening.
And it's fun for me because it's not being directed at me. So I revel in it. It's fun for me.
It's like, hey, this is a funny guy, man.
Pretty much, yeah. So again, in all honesty, this is pretty much the amount I really want to talk about the Upper Deck lawsuit. Like, I get it, it's news, but it's not super interesting to me. For I know for a lot of people it's very, very interesting.
When Dan was like, "Yeah, there's an 18-page thing," I'm like, I ain't reading that.
Yeah, like for me, it's something I'll keep an eye on, but
I'll skim through a couple paragraphs, but I ain't going for that.
And it's still something we'll keep an eye on. Yeah. And now that we've got a segment where we can talk about what's going on in the world of card games, we'll probably start mentioning stuff here in this segment. So, yeah, I mean there's not really a ton. I mean, it's spoiler season, guys. Like it in all honesty, like it's really starting to feel like spoiler season for Lorcana especially, and that's kind of what we'll touch on. So, so again, new segment. This is kind of how we're going to start opening up the podcast, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we've been wanting to do something like this for a while, so now we've got an avenue to really. To really talk about it, and then we can move directly into our topic of the day. So the topic of the day is spoiler season, kind of what we think about it. So the way I wanted to approach this topic was essentially come at it from the standpoint of not necessarily content creators but consumers. Okay, come at it from the standpoint of consumers, and if we were having a conversation with a designer or a publisher, developer, like what we would tell them of how we think they should maybe approach spoiler season. Because I think really for any TCG player, they look forward to spoiler season very, very much. Yeah. Like it is an amazing time. Some people look forward to spoiler season more than they do of getting their hands on the actual cards. Right? Yeah. And I know that's how I used to feel as a Magic player. I don't feel that way about Magic anymore. And we'll talk about it, right? But I mean, what has been historically, what's kind of been your thought process behind spoiler season as a TCG player? Like what have been some of your experiences?
I did really used to love it. Watching the content creators talk about the cards that came out for the day or the last couple days, whenever they'd throw it up there. SBMTG has always done the spoiler season videos. But then it got to a point where it's like, oh, people are talking about these cards. I don't even know are a thing. I'm in these groups on Facebook. Yeah. They're talking about it. I'm like, where are these cards? How can I find these cards?
Yeah.
You know, then you go to like Mythic Spoilers or whatever other websites to find them. And then, you know, it gets to, oh, well, now those creators that I really enjoyed watching, well, they're just behind on these leaks. It's still,
and that's a big thing too. Leaks, like that's actually a key point, a differentiation differentiator. Yeah.
So the leaks are the spoilers, and it's still cool to hear them talk about it and like give their point of view. But it's like, okay, I saw that card 2 days ago. And you know, it's just more of, all right, well, now I'm keeping up with the spoilers on my own, and I'm not really paying attention to the creators anymore. And as you're seeing new cards every single day, and then it's like, all right, the set drops, I know what cards I'm wanting, and then 3 days later, 2 days later, they're like, oh, look at these random leaks that happened from a reputable source, and time to start the next spoiler season the following week.
So I think first we need to make a point.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a spoiler and a leak.
Yes. Yeah.
And there have been many leaks, especially in the Magic community. Okay. In fact, I mean, there was a point where like their leaks were getting so bad, you know, and there were content creators who would, you know, not specifically not report on leaks.
Yeah.
Okay. So just in my experience, okay, I'm just going to go off of, you know, content that I used to watch, okay, and still do watch on occasion. One creator commands Commander's Quarters. There we go, Commander's Quarters. Okay, he was a creator who, if there was ever a spoiler leak, he would cover it, and he was one that would go hard on the leaks. Okay, now full transparency, I don't really watch his videos anymore because the one thing that made me turn me off from his content, he does great content, but he would make videos about theoretical cards that he made. And then I didn't know if it was real or not.
Yeah,
so I don't want to say I would get tricked into clicking his content, but I would see the thumbnail and I'd be like, oh, I haven't seen this card. Yeah. And then come to find it's not a real card.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm just not wasting my time anymore. And that's data, guys. That's just some data for you. Take it with a grain of salt, take it however you will. But that was just my experience, okay? Because he had a lot of great content. When I first started watching Magic content, for especially Commander stuff, would watch his videos because he had a lot of great budget Commander lists that he would come out with. Yeah. But that was just one experience of one creator. And then there were other creators, for example, MTG Goldfish. They, like Seth, basically said he just wasn't going to report on leaks anymore because I don't know if it was more from a legal standpoint or what, because we know what happened with the Pinkertons. That was kind of crazy. What was your stance on leaks? Because my thought, I want to tell you what my thought was, okay? Because I wasn't making content. I was not making Magic content at that time. And I always thought, I'm like, look, and Seth made a good point too. Once it's out in the wild, I mean, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Yeah. Are you just going to ignore it, or are you just going to say, hey, this is what's out there, here's what I think, and so on and so forth? That was my thought. I was just like, well, it's already out there. If you didn't put it out there, I mean, somebody's going to see it
from somewhere.
I would rather them see it from me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was my stance. What's your stance?
At first I was thinking like, oh, maybe I wouldn't have made content on it. Yeah. But it's also like I would have, but just thrown in my idea of, you know, it's not really the best thing, or I still might not have made content just in case Magic they are like, okay, you're putting out more stuff about the leaks and blah, 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 in case anything could have happened there. Which, you know, depending on how big you are, might or might not matter. Yeah. I could see going both ways with it. Right. It's like, it's there. I might as well give my opinion on it. Yeah. Not just the card, but also like, it's not really a good thing.
Yeah. I can see the argument for both sides.
Yeah.
I can see both arguments for sure.
Yeah.
And ultimately, is one right and the other wrong? No, it's just what's your preference, you know? So yeah, it is what it is, but
it's a difficult thing to say.
Right. We'll get on this with, I want to mention something specifically about Magic, but we're going to talk about that on the last point. Okay. The first thing I just thought of, but the first thing I want to touch on, is again, guys, these are basically like our thoughts and our recommendations. Like if we were talking to a publisher, developer, who's coming out with the TCG, what our thoughts to them would be of how they should do a spoiler season. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think as seasoned TCG players, I love spoiler season, especially if it's a game that I love.
Yep.
Like I enjoy it so much. Okay.
Yep.
I don't like Magic spoiler season anymore. We'll talk about it. But number one, I think this is the biggest thing, and this will go hand in hand with the second one, but it's have a plan.
Yeah.
Have an actual plan.
Yep.
Okay. One of the things that I enjoyed, okay, when I was following Magic content, okay, that they did was when spoiler season was coming up, they would have an actual list on their website of, hey, go to these certain content creators on this date for their spoiler card.
Yep.
So they had a roadmap already set in place of, all right, I am licking my chops. I am ready to go. I know where to get all these new cards. Yeah. And the one thing, actually, I'll mention this here on this point. But it all starts with having a plan. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just being able to set it up to where you know exactly how things are going to be coming out and not just randomly throwing it out there, or even if you're trying to get a bunch of content creators to do it and people aren't getting back to you in a short amount of time, and giving yourself enough time to be able to make everything happen, because just being able to go off on a whim doesn't really work. No.
And one of the things that I really loved, and I enjoy this though too, is now with Magic. Okay, those videos that they do. Those produced videos.
Yes, I love those.
Those things are so good. I mean, they just started doing those. I remember when they did it for
Capenna.
Well, I remember the War of the Spark. I think that was just mostly the cinematic.
Yeah.
When they did that War of the Spark cinematic. But I think that's really when it started.
Was beautiful.
I think that was when those spoiler the cinema feel really started for the sets.
To this day, I will still go back and watch that video and listen to the song.
Oh, yes.
Because I like that version more than the original.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. For those in our audience who don't know what you're talking about, what is it, Jim?
The song, why can't I? It's a Linkin
Park song. Yes.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
So I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's in the end. I think the name of the song is in the end. Yeah. Yes.
The female voice that they have singing it.
It's a great.
And they slow it down. They
I can't tell you how many times I've watched that video. It was so good.
Oh, dude.
And that was just such a dope set, too.
Yeah, I still get chills watching it.
Yeah, dude. Of course. But I really think like that's when the cinema, the video, the quality of those videos like really just started on making that taking it a notch up. Right.
Yeah.
So it was so good.
I don't even think they could have picked a better set to do that with.
Yeah.
It's like the pretty much the end game, right? Of Magic for
the lore.
The
lore.
And it's
for
like
Magic,
you're now fighting the ultimate bad guy.
Yes. Yeah.
And they couldn't kill him. They had to imprison him. Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's always spoilers.
It's always
Even though it's been out for a couple of years. So it was like the ultimate bad guy. It's time. Everyone had to be in there to take him out. It was a beautiful setup.
Yeah, it was so good. But then I think, because I don't think they did, I don't think they did like a spoiler video for that set where they basically introduced the set. They introduced all the new mechanics, all the new cards. I know they did it for Call Time. Yeah. Because Call Time was before New Capenna, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
And I remember that they did it for Call Time. I can't remember the set before Call Time though. But
was it
Call Time was the first time I remember them doing.
Was it the storybook and then Ikoria and then Call Time, or something?
I think it was. They did do it for Eldraine. They did do a video for Eldraine.
Yeah, they did.
And so for those
the
of you,
little gingerbread cookies running around, and Garuk's destroying people in the background.
So basically, what Wizards of the Coast has now done for the past few sets, okay, is when spoiler season kicks off, basically, and spoiler season basically is the marketing push for the next set for your game. Okay, what they did is they put together it was about a 30-minute video of basically them introducing the set. They show off new cards, they do interviews, they show off new mechanics, and again, the whole idea of spoiler season, again, is just the same idea of marketing in general, is to get you hyped for a thing. Okay. That's the entire point of it, right? But I think Eldraine might have been the first, maybe. Who knows? But I remember I know they did it for Eldraine. Okay. I do know they did it for Eldraine. Okay. And so they put out this 30-minute or however long the video was of interviews and just basically, hey, here's the set and here's what we've got coming down the pipeline. Okay, and now I think what they do is, here's the next sets coming after that. It's like they give you like a year roadmap type thing. Yeah. And I think they only include that in the video like once a year.
Which they've had that for a bit now.
Have they?
I want to say
showing you what's coming.
Yeah, I think it was around Dominaria or right after the one with all the pirates. I forget its name. Ixalan. Yeah, it was around that time frame they started doing that.
Oh yeah. Gotcha. But again, this all goes to having a plan. You have to have a plan because again, that helps keep people engaged. Helps keep them engaged so they know what's coming. So that way, and I know there are people out there who will put it in their calendar. They put it in their calendar. They will open up their phone. All right, they said this date. All right, I'm putting it on my calendar. People do that. Did you do that? Do you do that?
No, I don't.
You don't do that? I'm one of those people who will do that. And I know there's other people out there like that.
I'll be on YouTube enough to be like, oh, hey, it's that time.
So the next point goes very well along with this, but it's consistency. Consistency is
key for everything.
It literally is. Because all right, two examples right now, and we this is another thing we talked about in our stream, in our video. Okay, Star Wars Unlimited and Disney Lorcana. Before today, I did not think Lorcana was doing a very good job. Okay, they were doing good job in this next thing. Okay, but publicly, like on your social channels, keeping the entire population of that social channel, we'll say it like that. Okay. All your followers, keeping them engaged so they know what's going on. Lorcana was it felt like it was, all right, you asked for it, here you go. It really felt like the epitome of we don't have a plan, we're doing kind of what feels right. Okay. Star Wars Unlimited on the flip side, okay, all they're really doing that I'm seeing and paying attention to is if you go to their Twitter, they are constantly releasing artwork from cards, or it may not even be from cards. I'm pretty sure it's most likely from cards, but they're showing off artwork on a regular, consistent basis. Okay. And that's enough to keep me, oh yeah, that looks cool. Like today, C-3PO. I saw a C-3PO art, not even the entire card. It was just artwork. I'm like, all right, I love me some C-3PO. I'm going to keep watching this. What's your take on consistency when it comes to spoilers?
Man. Yeah, it's if you're able to have even if they drop one card a day, it's something you can look forward to, or 5 every single week. If you're looking at just Monday through Friday. But when it's they spoiled a bunch of stuff and then radio silent for a month. What happened? What happened, guys?
Do you think people will stop paying attention if something they're looking forward to they don't hear from them?
I think I think yes, because it's we kind of look at the world we're living in now, and it's YouTube Shorts, TikToks. It's you have so much stuff being thrown at you, and it's you could easily just forget about something that's even after a couple days. right? Yeah. Because you know, we think about some things that could have happened like a week ago, even a few days ago, and people are like, "Oh, that's old news."
Yep.
It's like, why are we even going to talk about that anymore? Mm-hmm. There's so much other stuff that is, you know, going on, especially in just the day.
Yep.
So being able to produce something every single day, even if it's just one thing, is kind of important.
I'm not even necessarily sure if it's even necessarily once a day, but at least something on just a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And even if that consistent basis is every other day, every 2 days, it's something that as I'm scrolling my feed, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like now with again, let's look at Star Wars Unlimited. The game doesn't even launch until next year. But I'm not going to forget about it because like I'm following them on my social channels, on my social streams. And as I'm scrolling, Star Wars Unlimited, Star Wars Unlimited. That's awesome. Okay, now I'm going to go. This is enough to make me go back to their social channel, learn more about this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's that consistent. Even if it's a drip, as long as it's a consistent drip to make me know you're there, to make it, that's just enough. All I need to know is, okay, yeah, you're there. Yeah, you're again just from the standpoint of from a consumer.
Yep.
Just from that consumer standpoint, it's I just need to know you're there, and then if you give me something that okay, I'm going to look more into this.
Yep.
Even this, and again, this is well before your big spoiler season push. It's just hey, you're there, you're coming down the pipeline. I'm not going to forget about you.
Yep. And it really also depends on like when is this game being released. Right? Like you were saying with Star Wars, if it's the end of next year and them giving us a little bit now, you know, just like every single week, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Right? But if we're like...
Oh, your game's coming out in a month?
Your game's coming out in a month and we have less than half the cards.
Again, this is us kind of throwing shade at Lorcana, but also... I think today they really turned it around.
Yeah.
They really turned it around today. And again, we'll talk about it. Okay. So the next thing is this again, this is going to be the start of us turning it around for Lorcana. Okay. But the next thing I want to talk about is use what's going on in the world, in the community to your advantage. Okay. I can't remember what was going on. There was something going on in the world, and I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember. But how many conversations, Jim, have you been a part of where you were talking about something and you're like, you know, it'd be really good if they did this today or this tomorrow, or it'd be a flavor fail if they missed this. Man. You know, again, these are very small things. In context, right? Yeah. But I mean, how many times have you mentioned that about whatever it is? Yeah. It doesn't even have to be Lorcana.
I'm sure it's been a couple.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Right. But today is June 26th. Okay. 626.
626.
626. So as I was going on Twitter today, and honestly, I didn't even really think about it, but if you are at all in the world of Disney, though the number 626 should mean something to you. Did you know about this before today, Jim?
What? Just the number?
The number. Okay. Okay. So, Jim,
I used to be really big into Lilo and Stitch, and I would actually watch the cartoon that they'd have a long time ago for it.
It's still on Disney. My kids are currently watching it on
like,
Disney Plus.
It was
right
like
now.
Every episode, it was like a brand new experiment. Like you get to learn about them and whatnot.
Yes.
I love that show.
My kids are loving that show right now.
Yeah.
So, Jim, can you explain to the audience what the significance of the number 626 has for Disney?
All right. So if you guys remember, right, for Lilo and Stitch, they had a bunch of different experiments, okay, for these little critters. And the specific one, 626, is Stitch himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Stitch is experiment number 626. Yep. So as I'm scrolling Twitter this morning, I didn't even think, honestly, I didn't think about it. But then I came across something of somebody had posted something on Twitter about, hey, Disney Lorcana, you know, today's 626. It'd be really great to have a Stitch card. And I'm thinking to myself,
that was scripted, dude.
I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what? Yeah, they're actually, like, again, opportunity is presenting itself to you.
Yep.
You need to seize that opportunity. Yep. Okay. Because if you don't, communities will pay attention. Yeah. They know. Okay. So today in the world of Lorcana, they released 3 cards. And they did release a Stitch card, but Stitch was the last one they showed off. The last one they showed, it was later. It was
Disney's
later on.
Like, hold my beer. I got this.
It was later on in the day.
Yeah.
So, and that's honestly an entire separate conversation because I'm like, I wonder, like, if Ravensburger was not going to release it today, and then if they got a call from somebody at Disney, yeah, you need to show off a Stitch. You need to show a Stitch card today. You need to.
Yeah.
Do I think that happened? No, I don't.
Release the beast.
Release the beast.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, use what's going on in the world or in your specific community to your advantage.
Yeah.
Use it. I know what's going on right now is we are close to spoiler season for Flesh and Blood. Mm-hmm. Flesh and Blood is coming up on a spoiler season. I think awesome. I saw a new card today. The artwork is very mature themed.
Oh.
It was like diabolic something, and the art was sick. Like it was really good, like really good.
Else. Okay.
No, not that one. I didn't mean that one, because again, we were. In fact, the reason I thought about this is I was on a podcast of a friend of ours recently, Joey Sinart. I started up a new podcast called Priority Window. It's like gamer parents. So we had a really good conversation.
Why didn't you guys invite me?
We did talk quite a lot about you though, Jim. Honestly.
I guess I gotta listen to it.
I said my kids love you, so you're kind of an adopt.
I'm like an uncle.
You're like an uncle, yes. So, but anyway, one of the questions that was posed to me was, if I would let my kids get into Magic, or, and my answer essentially was not right now. And again, I approach from the standpoint of the themes and the artwork, and I'm like, I don't want them looking at stuff like this at that age. Okay, and so we talked about Flesh and Blood, right? And because the themes in Flesh and Blood are a lot more mature, right? And then I had brought up Disney Lorcana, and I'm like, Lorcana is like a perfect game for me to introduce them to the TCG world, right? Because I'm not really super concerned about the themes.
Yeah, okay? It's really Disney and Pokemon, like those are
right. Exactly. So that was why I was thinking about it, and then I saw that card today. I'm like. Okay, yeah, it was like basically somebody's skin's getting ripped off. It was like a lot of blood.
I can't wait to see this.
It was good. Like it was cool. It was really cool. But not something I'm going to want my kids to really look at.
Yeah.
So that was the only reason why I was thinking about that. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, use what's going on in the world to your advantage. So if there's a special holiday, use it. If there's something going on, like use it to your advantage. Because if you don't, somebody else will. Okay, and then you will have your market your base looking at that other thing that you don't want them to be looking at. Okay, because when it comes to marketing, you got to pay attention where the eye's going. Mm-hmm. You really got to. So that was the next one. This next one is huge, and what I was going to touch on earlier, but use a community, use content creators. Okay, use them.
Call.
And again, this is something that we've talked about on our podcast, not in podcast, but this is the podcast, our stream. Like we talked about on stream last time. Yeah. And it's like I'm not saying this from the standpoint of like I want a card. Like do we want a card? Sure, yes, that'd be cool. Great, that'd be cool, right? But that's not why, right? Because I think it helps promote engagement. Yeah, it helps build up hype. What we were talking about at the start of this conversation, we talked about this on stream, but we both watched SBMTG.
Yeah.
Every spoiler season, I would go to his channel. I'd get home from work, I would sit down, I'd have dinner or something, and I would just put on his video and all right, what spoilers happened today? Yeah. What happened? And because he was my spoiler content creator, he was the guy that I wanted to watch.
Yeah. Also, if you are going to give us a card, make sure it's not green.
You don't like
specifically from Magic.
Oh, okay.
Lorcana, I'll take some green cards. I'm down.
Alpha Clash, yeah, we'll take green cards.
Alpha Clash, there are some sick green cards. There's
some really sick green cards, and we may or may not talk about one today. We'll
spoilers.
See. Spoilers
in session.
So when we talk about the community and content creators as it relates to spoiler season, what are some of your thoughts from that front?
Oh man, It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
You know, like I was saying earlier with the SPG MTG or
however you say it.
Yeah, SBMTG. What did I say that? SBMTG.
You were like SBMTG.
Whatever,
a lot of letters in there. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Or Seth, or even Command Zone, like Professor. You know, it's great to see, especially them being hyped up over the card, or however it is that they make the videos about the cards, and and even if it's like less known. People in the community, like say they've been here for like, I don't know, 2 years or something. I'm just throwing out a number. And like, you know, you're helping build up other content creators as well. Cause it's like, oh, we got to go over to their channel and go see this video or to go see the card, you know, or however, you know, you go about setting it up. So it also builds the community as well of reaching out to the other people, and some people you might have never seen before. And it's like, oh, these guys are actually really cool.
And I also think too, like for having a spoiler card, right? It gives creators a chance to be more creative. Yeah. Right? Because there's a difference between like I'm going to take SBMTG, right? Is a great example, okay? I would always
Who's going to talk about him all day?
I know. I would always, again, I'd go to his channel and watch his analysis and his reviews of the cards that are coming out, right? But then his card, there was a much shorter video, and this was I'm spreading my wings creatively, right? And then giving an opportunity to showcase one card. I'm not doing an analysis. This is my opportunity to get to show it to everyone else. It's the first time this is coming out into the world, and I get to show it. And then you do with it what you will. Okay. And then you go watch the other videos, the more analysis, the in-depth review types. It's different, but it's always, again, I always felt it was really cool because it was like, he was my guy. You know, I would always watch his stuff, and you were the one I would go to for all this content, and then get to see, oh, you got a card too? That's really cool. Yeah. So
I love when the professor got his card. Finally, it was a common card.
Oh yes, yeah.
He's big into Pauper.
Yes,
and the fact that he was like, "This isn't even a good card."
But the other thing too is, I watch creators who I know are honest. Yeah. If I watch somebody and all they say is, "This is the best card ever," I don't like that. Yeah. Because then how do I know you're being honest? Like if everything's the best, then that means nothing's the best. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I get
everything's broken, nothing's broken.
I get being hyped and excited about stuff, but I mean, I guess if you look at us, we're not hyped or excited about anything because everything's terrible.
It's all bad, dude.
No, I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
We're just memeing.
We are just memeing. We are just trolling. But at the same time, I charge everyone, be honest. Okay. Don't it's cool. I think it's easy to always be hyped up and always be excited. Yeah. It's a little harder to be a little calm, cool, and collected. Like take a chill pill, take a step back. All right, let me actually think about this. Let me actually think about what I think. Yeah.
And sometimes the card doesn't have to be stupidly good for you to be excited about it, right? Like there's going to be cards that Dan's super excited about, and they're just not, like a bunch of the green cards that are just not good, right? And then like there's going to be cards where I'm like, this deals damage to face and it's 26 mana for 3 damage. I love it.
So one of the things that I think this is kind of a tangent, but I want to mention it. One of the things that I think gives us an advantage, okay, from a content creator standpoint is we've got 2 opinions and we don't necessarily agree all the time. Yeah. And like so you guys can watch our content and then be like, we're going to get 2 different sets of opinions in one video. Yeah. You know? Yeah, so that's why I like doing content with you because we've got the dynamic. Yeah. I enjoy our dynamic very, very much. So, all right. And this point about using the community, I think it's one of the biggest ones. I think it really, really is.
Yeah. Because especially nowadays.
Yeah, especially, and there's a game. I'm not going to mention the game, but there's a game where I've been talking to the team, and I was asking specifically about spoiler season, and I'm like, "We going to do spoiler season? Like, what is there a game plan?" And the response basically was, "There will be spoiler season." I'm like, yes. Like, that's all I needed to hear. That's it. That's all I needed to hear. That's awesome. Like, I don't even care if I'm part of it, just that the fact that there is,
that is going to exist.
Then that's going to be great. Yeah. And before we move on to the last thing, it's one thing that I'm really hoping with, again, just touching back to Lorcana. Lorcana, and we talked about this on Friday. On the stream, we were like, we thought they were going to really turn things around this week. Yeah. It's Monday, and they did. Yep. They three spoilers today. Yep. I have not been on. I haven't been on social media for the past few hours. There might have been another one. I doubt it. We'll check before when we end. But yeah, the other thing too is what Lorcana is doing. We talked about this as well. There's a Lorcana HQ Discord. This is not an official Lorcana Discord. This is a fan-run Discord. They have been dropping spoilers directly into the Discord. Okay, like that's cool and all. Like that's great. It is not bad. It is not a bad thing. It is definitely a good thing. I think it's an actively good thing getting that specific community involved. Okay, but I had made a comment. I was like, "That's cool." Are we going to release those like on Twitter, like for the majority of people? I don't know. What do you think if it was just dropped in a Discord and that was it?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, if it was just dropped into Discord, it's cool for everyone who's in the Discord.
Yes.
But not everyone's going to be in the Discord or even know about it, especially if it's not an official thing.
Right.
So,
my thought was like, if I'm not in that Discord, if I was not a part of that Discord, my thought as a consumer would be, do they not care about me? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're not posting it on the biggest social media, because you're going to be able to have more people following you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever than people are going to know about an unofficial Discord group.
Sure. And yes, there's definitely going to be people in that Discord who are just going to then post it on other social media platforms, right? But and this was my entire point when I brought this up on stream was, but if I'm not a part of that Discord, I don't feel like they care about me as a consumer. I think they care more about the people in that Discord than they do about me, the general population. Okay. Yes, that's cool for people in the Discord, but and again, this is also, I don't envy anybody in marketing departments, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff that, they got to think about, the thought processes of, the population, right? So it's not easy. Like I'm definitely not suggesting that it is by any stretch of the imagination, right? But it was just something, again, that I've been thinking about. And again, we've mentioned this before as well. Ravensburger has never released a TCG before, right? They are new to this as well. They've got a lot of great people on the team. They've got a lot of great people who've been through the ringer. They've got that experience, but they haven't released one before. So just something to think about. The last one, I just want to mention this. It literally used to be a joke. It used to be, and I remember these content creators stating this joke of it's always spoiler season. Because they felt like when they finished because spoiler season is hard work for content creators because they feel like every day record a video, record, edit, release a video every day. Okay. Of what happened in the Magic world or whatever. Okay. Yeah. They felt like it was always spoiler season. Okay. Just because, I mean, again, like, if you've been through something that happens 4 times a year, it can time runs, it goes together, right?
Yeah.
But now it literally always is spoiler season in one aspect or the other for Magic specifically.
Yeah. And it used to be when everyone was joking about it, you would have 2 weeks to a month before they started spoiling the next set.
Yeah, it was about a month.
Yeah.
I think.
And then it got to a point where it was then at the 2-month mark. And then it was I'm also including leaks for stuff.
Okay.
And then it got to the point when set dropped, 3 days later, there were leaks. And then starting the next week, within 1 to 2 weeks, then official spoilers were getting dropped. It's like, are you kidding me?
And the biggest, I don't want to say problem, because the problem is it's always spoiler season. That's the problem. The cause, the root cause, okay, is they are releasing more sets.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the biggest part.
That's the issue.
Where
and again,
it used to be
a problem. But
it used to be you'd have your 4 standard sets, your commander, your yearly commander
set,
product,
yearly commander,
and then your master set.
Yep.
That was it. Pretty much that was it. And then they started coming out with the challenger decks. Then they started coming out with, they got rid of the intro deck or the starter decks for every single standard set, and then started releasing commander decks for every single one of those. So then you started to see even more cards on top of the yearly commander sets. And now you're throwing even more sets than just the master set.
Got Universes Beyond.
The commander stuff. Yeah. There's a lot more products out there, which is the biggest problem.
Yep, that's the issue.
Yeah.
And so our thought, okay, again, if we were telling this to a
but it's
designer,
kind of a good problem.
Right. And that's a thing, right? But it's give us some time to breathe and like play with the cards.
Yeah.
Like just give us some time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because people, I think it's a safe bet to say that people just feel like they're smothered. Yeah. They're smothered with the amount of content and the amount of things that are coming out.
There's a new carrot every single day.
There is. Yeah. And people only have so much money to spend.
Yeah.
They do. And if if consumers feel like you are taking advantage of them, then, they will abandon you. Okay. Yeah. I mean, for me as a consumer of Magic products, I don't consume as much as I used to. Okay. There's other things that have taken my attention. The only way I play Magic anymore is Commander.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy playing Commander. Yeah. I enjoy the format. I enjoy the time I have with my friends playing the game.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't consume the amount of Magic content anymore. Yeah. I don't buy as many Magic products anymore.
Yeah. I recently started getting back into Modern, and whenever I'm playing it, I absolutely love it. But it's also just like I'll stop or I'll play for a bit and pay attention to the Magic stuff. I'm like, it's just exhausting.
I know.
It's exhausting.
I'm glad I am.
And then I slowly drift out of it again.
Like, I'm glad I have my Modern deck because like it gives me a deck to play the format. Yeah. But I just want to play the deck. Like, I want to play the deck. Like, I hope my deck is good for the meta.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I'm out. And then I'm out.
I have a friend at work who's like telling me, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna play Magic soon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm probably just gonna play my burn deck." He's like, "You got to stop playing that deck." I'm like, "It's literally my favorite deck."
Yes.
I'm like, I don't care if it's meta. I went to a SCG when Burn was doing terribly. And I'm like, I don't care. That's when I went 2 and 7. It was my first one ever, and Burn wasn't doing great at that time. I'm just like, I don't care. I want to play my deck.
Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's I wanted to save that for last. Because I think that's a problem that's honestly just strictly related to Magic.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's going to be other games, especially new games, that are going to have that problem.
Yeah. And there's one little thing I wanted to add.
Yeah.
And this happens for like video games as well as the
Jim adds stuff like this.
And people talk about how this game coming out, it's going to kill the big 3 or the biggest game. It's like, you're not going to get rid of it.
No.
The only way for it to die is for itself to be put out. It has to put itself.
By itself, yes.
Yes.
Correct.
And, like we were just saying, we're getting exhausted. If other people are also like, we're just going to slowly creep out of it. Yeah. Eventually, more and more people that's going to happen with. But some people get brought back with certain sets.
My favorite, true. Yeah. And I wonder how many people got brought back with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because Lord of the Rings is just a massive IP, and there's just so many great. I mean, it had it. I mean, there was a lot of positive and negative. I want to say not marketing, but reception when this set was announced and released. But I think overwhelmingly the positives drowned out any of the negatives. Like I haven't seen any sales numbers yet, but I'm very interested to see the sales numbers when they become available for the Lord of the Rings set.
Yeah.
But the last thing I wanted to mention, you say that, and my mind immediately gets brought to when the professor did his Lorcana video.
Okay,
it was basically like, is Lorcana going to kill magic?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Dude, it was hilarious. And I said the exact same thing that the professor did.
Yeah.
Okay. But because there were a lot of people in the Lorcana community who were like, oh, he's taking a dig at Lorcana. No, he's being realistic.
Yeah.
Like, he was being extremely realistic, which, is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, it's a sad thing to say. Like,
right.
Reality is a breath of fresh air, right? But I think everything he said in that video was correct. And one of the things that I think he led off the video with was magic is the only thing that's going to kill magic.
Yep.
We've had many discussions about the big three, if Lorcana can be a part of that, if Lorcana is going to make it turn into the big four in the West. Time will tell. But like I think today was really like, we're going to see what tomorrow holds, but we're recording a Lorcana video right after this.
Yeah.
Because we're getting ready for spoiler season.
Spoiler season is in session, guys.
So yeah, just such a great video that the professor did. So, all right, well that's today's topic, and then we're moving on to our final and favorite segment of the day. But it's the card of the week. It's the card of the week. If you were paying attention earlier, I love this card so much.
Yes,
so much.
It's pretty good.
This is we have another Alpha Clash card. Guys, I am so hyped. I'm so hyped for Alpha Clash.
Yeah. And these cards look beautiful, by the way.
Am I right?
They're gorgeous.
Right? They're so good. They are so dope. I love this card. It's so good. Okay. So the card, you know what, Jim? Why don't you tell the people at home what today's card of the week is?
Dan, we both don't really know how to pronounce this card. So
every time I
do me like that, huh?
Every time I pronounce this card, I'm like, I don't know that's how you say it.
I'm gonna call him Kagan.
That's what I've said too.
Kagan the Dragon.
Kagan the Dragon. All right.
He's a 6-cost green card, and that's the Alpha symbol. Yeah.
He's
a part of the Alpha
he is
clan.
the Alpha affiliation. Yes.
Yeah. He's Alpha AF. And he's got 5 attack, 5 defense. He has flight and an ETB. You may send target clash card to oblivion.
Yep.
So destroy target clash card.
Yep. So it's a 6-drop, and 4 of those resources need to be green.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't even see the little pips.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. In this lighting, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's 4 required green. In many, so the 4 required, pay attention to that, because if you're playing green, if you're playing multicolor, you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
The one thing,
it seems difficult to play multicolor in this deck or in this game. It seems difficult.
It can be. It definitely can be.
Because it's not like
there have been you can pilot dual colors pretty well. You can pilot dual colors very well. Tricolors is more difficult, but I've seen it done.
Until we get dual color cards.
No comment.
I already have a good feeling it has to be.
Yeah, so Kagan, I love this card so much. So I mean, it's ETB kill a thing, basically. This is the only card, I think this is the only clash card in set 1 that has this type of effect. Yeah. Okay. In many instances, Kagan is a 2-for-1. Yeah. He can very, very much be a 2-for-1. Now Kagan wins games. Kagan has won me many, many, many games. I love the. I'm say it again. I love this card so much.
I think it's Coggin.
Coggin. So the first big thing is it's got flight. Okay,
Yeah.
flight.
Huge.
I'm in the process of putting together a spreadsheet for all the cards for Alpha Clash Set 1. If you're into Alpha Clash, I may release that. I may have that become available to anybody. So let me, like, if you're interested, like, shoot us a comment, leave us a comment, shoot us an email, let us know you're interested. But it's something I may put out for release for people because I'm interested in the data and the information that's on these cards. Because I always like looking at the data and saying, okay, how many cards have X effect?
Yeah.
How many cards? Because one of the things that I'm adding.
We did that with DC Deck Builder a bit.
Yes. One of the things that I'm adding to the spreadsheet is one of my favorite things about these cards, about this game, are the trigger tags. I love the trigger tags because I think these trigger tags make the game more accessible.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought about accessibility in card games very much before. Since really Alpha Clash, because one of the things, again, when I was getting into Magic, I'm like, this is so confusing. It's a hard game to get into, right?
Yeah.
And it's very, very difficult until you really learn all the intricacies. But with Alpha Clash, it's a lot easier with these trigger tags. Because one of the questions you come up with a lot is, when can I play this card? What is sorcery, instant? What
on
is
trigger enter?
Well, yeah, like what is going on?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But with these trigger tags, they basically tell you when you can play the card, when you can activate the effect. So in Alpha Clash, there's a total of 6 trigger tags: 3 enter, 3 counter. Trigger enter, trigger defeat, trigger attack. So when you do one of those things, it will trigger. And then you have counter play, counter attack, and then counter trap, I think. So it's basically, it tells you exactly at what point in the game you can play or activate the card. It makes answering the question of when can I do this thing, like it's literally stapled on the card.
Yep.
Okay. And we see a trigger tag on Kagan, the trigger enter. Okay. So, but the first big thing is flight. And the reason I talked about that spreadsheet is flight is very, very big. Okay. Flight is the same thing in Magic as you're going to fly over all these other Clash cards. And the only thing that can stop you is the keyword in Alpha Clash is interception. Yep. Interception. Yep. So flight is very, 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 very powerful. Yeah. So Kagan, however you want to say it.
Maybe the K's silent.
Maybe the
Is it Hagen?
Is Hagen. Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely love this card. But seriously, I cannot tell you how many games this card has won.
I'm not surprised, honestly.
So many games.
He's a big boy, hard to kill, and then the thing that would kill him, you're just like, get rid of it.
But in all honesty, like Kagan is also just he's card advantage on a stick.
Oh yeah,
he seriously is, because there have been a lot of instances, okay, where especially in the late game, you're trying to kill your opponent's contender, and they leave up blockers or obstructors, and they leave one up. They leave one up. I'm going to enter, and then I'm going to kill that one blocker or obstructor, and then I'm going to get in. And then one of the things that's very interesting, okay, is in a game like Alpha Clash, I'm wondering how you view this, okay? But in Alpha Clash, essentially every card has haste. So cards can attack the moment they enter, okay? So that makes defending a lot more tricky.
Yeah.
Okay. So like for me, I'm thinking I look at Kagan, right? And I'm like, okay, he's a 5/5 with haste and ETB kill a thing. Okay. So for me, it's an easy answer of, well, of course I'm going to attack him. Yeah. Of course I'm going to attack. Why would I not? But then you have to, do you ever think about the crackback?
Dan,
I never think about the crackback.
If they're not going to kill me on the next turn, it doesn't matter.
But you don't know.
It's a race.
But that's the thing.
But you can guess.
Yeah, you can guess. Yeah,
you have pretty good guess.
Yeah, you've got good guesses, right? But still, I think Kagan just gives you so much value because he gets value the moment he enters. Yeah. The moment he enters, especially with the card pool in set 1. Yeah. he's always going to get that value.
Yep.
So, what are your initial thoughts when you look at, because I know I've played the game a lot more than you have.
Yeah.
And so I've got, other insight than you have.
So
what's yours?
I've been going through the card pool of the first set recently, and I would say if I was going to make like a top 10 list, if I was going to make a top 10 list, he's definitely high up there. I haven't gotten to go through all the cards. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, wait, what other cards destroy on ETB? As soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is good. 5/5 for 6 ETB, kill something, and it has flight.
Yes, dude.
It's so good.
Yes. And the other thing too, because again, the whole hasting, the whole, I am so not used to it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I love it, dude.
Dude, I'm used to all my stuff having haste. What are you talking?
Play mono red. But like for me, it's not something that I have been used to.
Yeah.
And the more and more I play this game, the more and more I'm getting used to everything can attack the moment it enters. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, dude, the quicker games, it turns into quicker games. And
the thing that really throws me off about the game is attacking with the contender.
Oh,
when we were playing our game, I was like, I forgot to attack with this. Oh my!
Yeah.
I lost out on like probably 3 or 4 damage because of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But yeah, Kagan, love this card. I love the artwork on it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm telling you, there's not a lot that I don't like about Alpha Clash. Yeah. There really isn't. Yeah. And that's why we're making a bunch of content for it. So yeah, we've got a lot that is right here in front of me that we're gonna get started with. So that is this week's card of the week, Kagan the Dragon.
Hagen.
All right. With that, we're gonna turn it over to you, the audience.
Yes.
What's your thoughts? What is your opinions on spoiler season? If you are involved in Magic, do you like that it's always spoiler season? Do you know anybody who likes that it's always? Because again, it's literally always spoiler season. Do you know people who like it?
I don't really know anyone right now.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah. I can't think of anybody who.
A bunch of people I know that are just like this. They, obviously they still play,
right?
And they'll see selected cards that they're like, oh, this card's really cool. Mm-hmm. All right, but there's also a lot of cards they're not going to care about.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't really know anyone who's always hyped about spoiler season anymore.
Yeah. But we want to know what you guys think. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about spoiler season. And if you have any other thoughts and ideas of what you think these games should do when they have their own spoiler season. Or do you even think spoiler season is a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you know anybody who thinks it's a bad idea?
I don't know.
I've honestly never asked anybody if they think it's a good idea or a bad idea.
I think I would be more excited about not knowing what the cards were beforehand and just cracking stuff and finding out.
But I want a card though.
It's a very old school.
It is. It is old school.
It's like, I don't know what's in the set. Let's find out. Just crack something and find out what's in it.
That's true.
That's
true. Then just don't pay attention to spoiler season.
Yeah, that's difficult. Come on. If you're on social media, if you use YouTube, anything, do you Google anything with Magic? The only way you stay away from spoiler season is not playing the game.
Or live under a rock.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you've got any other thoughts, make sure you leave us a comment down below, shoot us an email, or just let us know what you think. And yeah, well, I'd be very interested to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. Yeah. Well, with that, Jim, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at JimMorganHNH.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Daniel.G.Campbell. Twitter _DG Campbell. Head over to our website, www.hobbiesandhappiness. You can find links to all of our social, you can find all links to all of our social media platforms and all our content right there. If you head over to YouTube, that's kind of our hub for all of our video content.
Yes.
And and then we post a majority of social content on our Twitter feed as well. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Jim, this is a fun conversation. I had fun with this one.
It was a blast.
Looking forward to seeing what we're going to talk about next week. But thanks everybody for hanging out with us today, and we'll catch you in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Take care.